What's going on, everyone? It's KB.
What's
Love
up?
movies.
Hey,
Somebody's echoing. I don't know who it is. Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable. This is a new series I'm doing here. Think of it as the conversation with a whole lot more people in it. So we have another esteemed panel of guests tonight representing the Gen Xers. And we have Pops from Pops Movie Dungeon.
What's going on?
We got Dell on Movies.
what's up?
We got Caveman Movies and More. What's up, guy? We
Hey,
got
guys.
Stacy from Mr. Blockbuster Night.
What's going on?
And Big Chris making his return. You may call him Floyd House Flicks. What's up,
You know
brother?
what it is. Floyd House Flicks. Hey, guys.
Good to
Thank
have
you for
you
having
back.
me. It's been forever. I'm glad to see all of y'all. I miss you guys.
Yeah,
Glad to be back in the game.
we miss you. So, like I said, all Gen X cinema tonight. So we're going to be talking about things from the past, things that you youngins may not know about, but hang in there anyway. We're going to have a good time with it. Before we start, we're going to check out who's in the chat. We got Movie AB Impulse. What's up, Nick? Sorry, can't make this one. I'll be checking out the replay in the morning. Much love. Salute to you, my dude. Thanks for the check-in. We got Jeff. What's up, John Doe Juggalo? Good evening.
Hey, Jeff.
What's up, John?
Jeff,
Doe?
what's up?
John Doe.
We got the Bin Buster.
Hey, Graydon.
He said, as a Gen Xer, I love this series. All right,
Yay.
man. We gotta have you
Yay.
back on. We got to have you on later in the year. We're going to keep this going because this is just fun. We'll have other roundtables throughout the year, but this is for us. So as many Gen X's out there, we're going to have some fun with it. We got Faces for Radio podcast checking in. What's up?
Dave.
Hey, Dave.
What's going on?
Mr. Tony in the house, Basement Blues. Good evening to you, sir.
Tony.
Tony.
We got Johnny watching. What's up, cool kid?
Hey, Johnny.
What's up, Johnny?
Movie Hunter telling everyone to smash that like button.
Yes, hit that like
Sir.
button, you guys. Smash the like button.
We got Tiana on the check-in. How you doing, dear?
Hey,
Hey.
Joe.
Tiana.
Yeah.
We got Corey on the check-in saying hey to all.
What's going
Hey,
on?
Corey.
Up,
Corey.
Corey. We got Allie here. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for
Allie,
hanging
how you
out.
Ellie.
Hey, Ellie.
We got a guest from last week. We got the Huckster here saying
The
hey there,
Huckster.
Gen X
Huck.
panel.
Oh,
I put on the YouTube, I said that this was Gen X Cinema 2 Electric Boogaloo because only our generation might get that one. So I hate that they re-release those as bare bones because a little more respect. I mean, the first one had Van Damme in it. Give it a little more respect. Throw some features on there. Anthony. We have Allie, we have Anthony. What's up? With
Anthony,
all
what's
those
up, bud?
ballers and shot
Anthony.
callers. Glad you know. Glad you know.
Yeah,
We got Michael
He's up
checking
for
in.
horror YouTuber of the month.
Yes, sir.
You
Congrats.
guys go vote for him.
all right, go vote for him.
Good dude.
We got Movies with Ryan catching the replay tomorrow. Thanks for checking
Right.
in.
Hey, Ryan.
My baby brother.
We got Miss Caveman. Hey. Finally a stream for the old
This
fogies.
caveman. Hey.
Just for the fogies.
Just for the fogies. All right, guys. We're gonna start with a quick one. Just going around. Name and age. We'll start with Big Chris, and we'll come back around.
Hi, my name is Big Chris, and I'm an alcohol. No, I'm 54 years old. I just turned 54 in November, and I'm proud of it.
I hear that. Stacy.
Hey, Stacy over at Make It a Blockbuster Night. I am 49. I'll be 50 in September.
Blessings.
Ooh.
Blessings.
Big,
50
big,
is
big
coming.
combo.
something about 50 just don't make you care anymore. I don't know what it is. I don't care. Drama, I don't care.
Yep.
You don't like me, I don't care.
Yeah.
If you haven't figured that out by 50, you're in trouble.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
more things to worry about.
What about you, Guy?
I'm a 1968 model. 55. The
I'll be 56 in September.
All right.
I was gonna say, don't make us do math. Don't do that.
68, carry the one.
Right.
How about you, Alan?
I'm a 71 model. I'm 52. I'll be 53 in May. So
Nice. And brother Dell?
I am 52, and I will be 53 in July.
Nice. So another 71.
Yep.
So I had Dell go last because this first question that we're going to get into is kind of like a little dedication to his series that he's been starting up lately. So just anyone could jump in and start this. I just want to hear from a few people, if not all. But what's one of your favorite cinema memories from when you were a kid?
Ooh, I got lots of those.
I know you got lots of those. Just give me one, man.
All right. I'll give you one because this goes to a question we had you had last week with that panel about sneaking in the theaters. And my one for that is I saw Beat Street and the Karate Kid on the same day. Bought a ticket for Beat Street, watched that, snuck across the hall to the other theater and watched the Karate Kid. Had a great day.
What cinema was that?
This was on Lefferts Boulevard in Queens. I can't remember the name. I think it was Lefferts Theater actually. And
Lefferts Theater, up from the train station.
Yep.
Yep.
On the train station. And
I know
they
you
had 3 theaters in there.
Mhm.
And the only reason we didn't see the third movie that day is because we had to get home at a certain time.
Street lights.
pretty much. Even though my mother didn't know we had walked that far. So
Yeah. I used to walk to the mall because we didn't have enough money for all of us to take the bus. So unless it was crowded and you could hop on the back of the bus, we would walk. So I mean, it was like a couple of miles, but they had movie theaters there, and I mean, we walked all that time. We might as well see a couple of movies while we're there. So that's definitely something that we used to do as well. Anyone else got a good story?
KB was a hooligan popping the bus.
If it's crowded, there's no space in the front for you to pay your fare, so you just hop on the back.
Yeah.
Right. You had every attention. I know it's true.
Yeah.
one of my first horror movies I seen in theaters was Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D.
One of your favorites.
That was a rough one to see back then. Not only being the first horror movie I seen in theaters, but the 3D made it just that little bit more extra. At the time, it scared the crap out of me. But I look back on it very fondly now. Huge horror guy now, and that's kind of one of the earliest memories. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
fun. I remember the couple in front of us. If you guys have seen the movie, the one 3D effect where the eyeball shoots out, I remember the couple getting up and leaving the theater.
No.
And you look at it now and it's like, man, it just looks silly. Because if you don't watch it in 3D, it looks real silly.
Yeah.
But back then in theaters in 3D, man, it was next level.
Yeah, I think the first 3D I saw was The Nightmare on Elm Street that was in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the nice thing about the DVD box, that it still comes with the 3D glasses and
Yeah,
everything.
Yep.
It doesn't have the same effect like the movie theater, but still.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a story to go with it or memory?
The first 3D film, I can't remember the name of it, but it was kind of like one of the early days of like Lord of the Rings or whatever. It wasn't Lord of the Rings, but it was sci-fi kind of fantasy kind of movie, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was a horrible movie from what I remember.
Yeah.
But I snuck in to see Police Academy.
Nice.
You're covered right there with the Police Academy. At least you had that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I remember going to see Purple Rain. I think I told you this, KB.
Mm-hmm.
When I was probably 13, and I was out earlier going shopping for ColecoVision cartridges.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember what I bought. I bought 2 sports controllers, the Rocky game, and a couple other games. And as I was heading, now this is in Times Square, this is in New York. So as I'm heading to the 2 train to go home, the first movie theater, if you know Times Square or the Deuce, it was movie theaters on either side of the street, and starting from the corner all the way to the end. Once you got too far up and you started seeing adult films, you know you went too far. But
Or did
Purple
you?
Rain was on the marquee. I'm 13 years old. Purple Rain was a rated R movie, but this is the Deuce, so you get to just kind of walk on in.
Yep.
And that was the most exciting movie that I'd ever seen because it was like a concert. I didn't know too much about Prince, but it was like a concert. People jumped into the aisle and started dancing, and I mean, the energy. It was so live, and it was the first time a movie had ever had that sort of effect on me
Wow.
because it changed. I was changed literally. You know, people say they were changed. I was changed that day.
Yeah.
I'm a Prince fan to this day because of it.
I was about to
So-
say it made you into a Prince fan.
To this day.
Wow.
I got a question for everybody. Really for the non-New Yorkers on the panel, because at that age that Chris is talking about, I bought rated R tickets by myself all the time for all sorts of movies. So was that something that you guys did outside of New York?
Yeah, well, when I was in 5th grade, I was 6 foot tall. I've always been grown. I started shaving in 7th grade, so I could go in. I could buy beer in 9th grade. Nobody ever got carded, so I could walk right in, buy tickets for my buddies. We'd walk in, so I never had a problem.
He was the adult.
Right.
Where is your
I was
guardian?
grown. But
That's what they said to me. Where is your guardian? When I went to see
I just usually had friends that got them for me because I lived in a small town, so we had to travel like half hour for a theater. So if I didn't go with parents or anything, it was my friends just usually got me tickets. We never had any issues.
Yeah, I was gonna check what year DC Cab came out, if anybody remembers.
Oh yeah,
That was early 80s.
Was that 84?
That was my
Gary
first.
Busey, Mr. T, that was a great one.
83.
Yeah.
Or 86?
83.
83.
Yeah, I want to say 83. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that was my first rated R, and same thing. I hit a growth spurt. I was 5'11". You know, some people had the audacity to pick me first to play basketball, but I just walked up and I said, "One for DC Cab," and he gave me the ticket, and I was like, I got in, and I'm like, I didn't know it was rated R until I started walking in and I saw the poster, and you know the MPAA rating at the bottom was a big fat R, and I was freaking like they're gonna come and take me out and call my mom.
My first rated R was actually with my family in '79. We went to go see The Jerk. My home college is Florida State, and Florida State was in the Orange Bowl, and so we went down to see the Orange Bowl, and we all went to see The Jerk in theaters.
Nice.
That was my first R-rated movie in theaters.
Nice.
See, now I'm beginning to think adults in my area just didn't care because I'm only 5'4" now, and I at 13, like I said, I was buying tickets for rated R movies by myself. So these
It all
adults,
depends where you go.
My
Like,
sister used to take me to all the inappropriate. I'm sorry, KB, guys.
no, I was just gonna say it's all where you go. Like if I went to the multiplex, like the RKO cinemas that we had, they cared. But like if I went into like the city and like you said, went down to 42nd Street or went to the Village or whatever, they're like, yeah, whatever. It's like they were there just to hold down a job. They could care less if they were letting in underage kids to
Pretty
see
much.
whatever.
Pretty
So
much.
it was all where you were for me.
That's
My
very
sister used to take me to see all the worst movies. She's about 5 years older than me. So if she's like, I'm going to the movies, and my mom would say, take your brother. So she had no idea what she was going to see. So she took me to see the first Friday the 13th, the first one. She took me to see the second one. She took me to see every crappy, because there was a lot of B horror movies coming out around that time, just slashers, just bloodiest of the bloody. And again, Times Square, you get to see, on a good day, you'll see 3 movies in one day, a triple feature. And you paid like $3, and you're just in there for the day. But the worst of the worst, just as far as like places you shouldn't be, I shouldn't have been there.
all those movies that inspired Tarantino to make Grindhouse, all those movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Easily 8 years old watching these movies.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we didn't want to be down there after dark. So I don't know, but I can't speak for you two, but I had to hop the train. I was taking the 2 train the other direction.
You hop in the bus and the train?
No, I actually paid for the train because the cops were pretty active in the subway.
He is a juvenile delinquent, I tell you.
No, I was a good kid. Fix my
So
halo.
different in you.
Fix
Tell
my
you.
halo. Let me see who's in the comments here. I had up this one here. Second cousin Dave in the house. Good to see you.
Yeah.
People saying
Dave.
hi to each other. Miss Caveman says I'm a cougar.
No.
I'm a month older than my caveman.
All right.
We'll leave that one alone. You go, boy.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, Tony had to say it for me. All right. What's up, Mika dear? How's it going, sir?
Mika.
Everyone's saying hi. Oh, Kira's in here too. What's up, girl? I didn't see you. Where you at?
Hey, Kira.
She's
Kira.
somewhere in here. Everyone's saying hi to each other. 4K
Hey,
Temple Bible. What up?
Hey, Brad.
What's going on, Brad?
What's up?
Mika and Kira did such a good interview on Corey's channel.
Oh yeah. Got to check that out. This is probably true for all of us. Parents didn't know where we were when we were kids. As long as we were home by the street lights. Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, it was like having a bike and being allowed to leave the block. That was instant freedom. And then that just graduated to up when you got a car. But when I got a bike, it was stand by me in the hood. They didn't know where I was. They just knew street lights on. He's at the front step. He was on the stoop. That's it.
I could only ride to the big tree in the middle of the block, and I better be back.
That's what I'm saying. The first time you were allowed to leave the block with your friends was like, I don't know, just like a great exodus. You could just go wherever you want.
But you were scared the whole time because you thought you were going to get in trouble.
Or get run over by a car.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A bike back in the day was freedom.
It was.
I remember driving all over not driving, but riding the bike all over the city, like hours and hours away from my house.
Mm-hmm.
That my mom probably would have shit a brick if she would have found out about it.
Yeah. I had a 4-wheeler, and we lived next to the woods. I'd go riding in the woods, leave that morning, had to be home by dark, and we'd always go where we wasn't supposed to. And you're afraid you're gonna get a flat tire or get in a wreck or something. Once you got back to safety, it was like, but it was exciting.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, that was like growing up here. I'm back at the same town I lived in when I grew up, and it's just a town of like 600 people. So my parents, as long as I gave them an idea where I was or when I thought I'd be home, they didn't really worry about it too much.
Yeah,
Everybody
pretty
knew
much
everybody.
same.
So.
Yeah, once I got to leave the block, and I walked everywhere. I really didn't ride a bike, but I walked everywhere. And once I got to leave the block, at the most I would be like, "Mom, I'm going to play ball at the park." Whether I was going to play ball or not, I'm going to play ball at the park.
Yeah.
And in the summertime, I'd get up, early in the morning, eat some cereal, head out the door by like 10 o'clock, and she wouldn't see me till 8 o'clock when it got dark.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They just wanted to know you were home safe at night. They didn't think anything was going on in the day.
Their cell phones with you around the corner, you were off the grid. No way to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mom, the payphone was broken. That's what I used to say. Payphone was broken.
Payphone money. So
that too.
Well, also because y'all remember that trick where you call collect and they wouldn't accept the charges, but they needed to come pick you up.
Yeah.
Or you do those collect calls where you pick up the phone and go, "Mom, it's me. I'm coming home."
Oh yeah. And then, would you accept the charges?
Listen to the recording.
Infinite character in the house. First cinematic experience is Furious 7. There's a reason he's not on this panel.
Lord. Furious 7.
Shout out to the Philippines.
It was so magical to me, he says.
Yeah, Johnny. If we weren't home when the street lights came on, then we deserve to be on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. I got a quick story for that. So I lived close to where two main streets came together, and it was Flatbush and Nostrand Avenue, for those of you that know.
Oh, yeah.
It was like for every fast food restaurant, me or one of my friends had a girl working there. So it was like, oh man, I want some fries. Let me see if Rhonda's working. Oh, and one night my friend said, "Yo, the girl at KFC is gonna hook us up with sacks of food." I'm like, It was when the what was it? The Chicken Littles?
Chicken Littles.
Yeah, when the
Chicken
Chicken
Littles
Littles
with the
came out
secret
at
sauce.
KFC.
Yeah, the little
I'm like-
square joints. Oh, they were amazing.
Yeah, the little square chicken joints. So I'm like, oh man, I'm starving. So we went there, and she was gonna hook us up, but it took forever. And I'm looking at the time on my little Casio watch, and I'm like, I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna miss curfew because it was weeknight, and we're walking up the block, walking and eating, just BSing the way friends do. And it was 10:30. My curfew was at 10, and that's when we had a lot of gang activity popping up. And I saw this dude from far away walking down the block with a baseball bat in his hand. I'm like, oh man, he must have just came from a fight or anything. And he was like, do you know him? Nah, I don't know him. It got closer. We realized it's my dad carrying his Louisville Slugger that he kept under the bed. And I'm like, yo, that's my dad. And he's like, oh man, don't worry, I got your back. We got up to him, we met up, and he looked at my friend. He's like, Joe, go home. My friend darted off. He was like, he left me like a bad habit. And I was just standing there. I'm waiting for him to crack me overhead in the middle of the block. And he just said, go inside. I was like, and then my mother was there nagging me, but good times. I just thought, he was gonna turn into like Reggie Jackson or something on my head.
We make those.
Sometimes just a threat. That's just enough.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Reggie Jackson was a baseball player.
Yes.
I just watched that
the Yankees.
I just watched his documentary that was on Amazon the other night.
Any good?
I liked it quite a bit, actually. Amazon does a good job with those documentaries because that was good. I like the Barry Sanders one a lot.
I did watch that one, the Barry Sanders one. That was good.
Yeah.
Still was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to the ones on Netflix, I did not like Sly. The Arnold one was decent.
No, Sly was
good.
oh my god, that was bad, not good.
Sly was just had a bunch of dolls of himself around the house.
Everywhere.
Which was kind of creepy, wasn't it? It's a little creepy.
Yeah.
It was very, because he had them everywhere. All sizes.
Which Caveman says first 3D movie she saw was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That's dope.
Wow.
In 3D.
Yeah.
Wow.
Movie Hunter, seen Star Wars A New Hope on a big screen in 77 when it was just called Star Wars.
Star Wars,
It was the beginning of my love. There you go. What you got there, man?
That's
Louisville Slugger.
the Louisville Slugger where they make the.
That's where my daddy got it from?
Trying to give him flashbacks.
Come on, man. I'm past that drama.
When they delivered this to the city, oh god, it was such a big deal because they had they delivered it like on a big tractor trailer with the rear wheels were floating, and they had to go through and they had to take down traffic lights and street signs and all kinds of crap to be able to take this thing straight to the middle of downtown Louisville to erect it up. And what's cool is that they have a glass shop right next door. And they painted a big baseball going through a window.
That's cool.
That's
cool.
They work well together that way.
Yeah.
Talking to Big Chris, I worked at the theater when Purple Rain came out. Still my favorite concert film ever. That's cool. I know Dell's seen it in theaters. I did not get to see it in theaters. I regret that.
That's something else. Wow.
That's actually one of my questions. What's the movie that you saw on video that you wish you saw in the theaters?
Believe it or not, my favorite movie was Do the Right Thing.
Really?
I did not get to go see it. It came out just before I left for basic training in the Army. And I didn't get to see it in theaters and actually didn't see it at all for a year almost.
Wow.
So 1990-ish when I saw it. So yeah, that's one I wish I could have went and saw in the theater.
Mine would have been the first Alien movie. I seen Aliens in theaters when it came out before I seen Alien. And so once I fell in love with Aliens, seen it about 10 times in theaters, I went and rented Alien a million times. And to this day, I still have not seen the first Alien in theaters. So
Yeah.
that would have been great.
I'm thankful for these re-releases so that we get a chance to see movies on the big screen that we may have missed, might have been
Yeah.
too young, not
Yeah.
able to see it for whatever reason. So like back in October, since it was just his birthday, 3 John Carpenter movies that I could pull off the shelf, I went to see in the theater just to get that big screen experience.
Yeah.
So I saw The Fog. What else? Oh, I forgot. I know Christine was the last one. The Fog. Oh, The Thing. Duh. So
Oh,
that
nice.
was fun to see those 3 on the big screen,
Yeah.
back to back. Anyone else got one that they would want to go see? Chris looks deep in thought.
I'm struggling because most of the films, look, we used to go to movies all the time, so it was like,
Yeah.
you're talking about the theater on Lefferts Boulevard. When I was in Queens, we would go to that theater all the time. We saw like The Children there, and a whole bunch of other weird kooky movies. And Times Square was a hop, skip, and a jump. So there wasn't too many movies that came out that I feel like I missed. I wish I would have seen that in theaters. I mean, it's probably something more current, or not current, but more recent within the past 10 years, maybe. That maybe I wish I could have saw it in theaters and just had to see it at home, but
Yeah.
nothing that stands out.
I think more recently, the first Pirates movie, I would have liked to see that in theaters. I didn't see that in the theater.
All the
I'm
big
just looking
box movies we saw.
Yeah.
I'm just like looking at my top 10. I think I've seen outside of, I didn't see Empire Records or Beverly Hills Cop might be one that I would have liked seeing. The rest of them I've seen either originally or saw them like in re-releases. Like Empire, I saw 2 or 3 different times in different re-releases, and I've seen Halloween, Jaws.
How about being able to I would love to be able to do this, be able to revisit the first time watch of the movie. Because one movie I'd love to do that with would be Star Wars, because I didn't get to see Star Wars when it came out in '77. I don't think I got to see it until it was like a re-release for like when Empire Strikes came.
That's when I saw it.
Yeah,
I would have liked to be caught up in all that hoopla when it first came out, though.
Yeah.
Jedi was the only one of the originals I saw originally in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Without Star Wars and Empire, I saw almost every re-release they've done, but
I mean, I just
saw all of those. All of those first 3 I saw in theaters on their original run, but Empire would be the one I would want to see for the first time again, just to relive that twist for the first time, because that was like mind blowing. You couldn't do that now because it'd be leaked all over everything.
It was fun to go back with somebody that hadn't seen it yet, and you just wait to get their reaction whenever they found out.
Yeah,
the big reveal. It was always fun to get their reaction. So
I would have loved to have seen like the Mac or Dolomite theatrically, just like when they released those movies. Just for the crowd reaction, for all the things that go along with a movie like that. I'm watching it just by myself. You get this kind of vibe off of it, and just evokes this kind of thing. But could you imagine being in a theater full of black folks watching the Mac when that came out? Just take my word for it, fellas. It would have been great.
Yeah, I can picture that. Imagine everyone dressing up. They got their purse, their
talking to the screen,
shoes.
just talking all the way and smoking, and just the experience would have been something that you just couldn't recreate watching it at home. You'll just see the movie, but the people add so much to the experience.
Oh yeah.
One of my first run screenings of a film was actually for like a sneak preview, and I got the sneak preview because I was always sending jokes to the local radio station, and so they hooked me up, and it was for Batman '89.
Oh, wow!
So getting to see that, and I mean the theater was packed, and just the crowd reaction and everything was just so awesome. And
it was a real event.
I'd love to be able to experience
that
experience, but with Star Wars Empire Strikes Back.
I don't know. I think about the hoopla as far as marketing around '89 Batman, and I think I can't think of anything that was to that level before that. I was in college. I know a couple of you were probably like seniors in high school that, coming out of high school that summer. Yeah, probably the same thing with you, Alan, right?
Yeah, I graduated '89. So
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the last movie I saw in theaters before I went into the Army. Matter of fact, was
Oh,
Batman
wow.
'89.
And
I was already somebody's father.
just the craziness about it. Every subway station had the teaser poster with just the logo on it. It was on sides of buildings. Forget about the amount of tie-ins and endorsements, people getting the tattoos. And I think, after a while, we're talking about after Star Wars and all that, there really wasn't anything to that level until '89 Batman.
Yeah.
For sure. A couple more comments and we'll move on. We got Fish in the house. My favorite Fish. Good evening. We got Coco in the house. What's up, girl?
Hey, Coco.
Thanks for hanging out.
Oh,
Michael wants to ask Pops his first rated R movie.
Yeah, it was The Jerk. We mentioned it earlier. Yeah, '79.
We got a young buck in here named Ryan saying, "What up, old heads?" You got a damn nerve.
what's up, Ryan?
Damn nerve.
Yes, sir. Old heads reporting for
We
duty,
just
sir.
we can lose him immediately if we just start talking about pickles because he loves pickles.
Just going through it. We got Emmett in here saying, "Hey, there's my
What's that?
co-host. Just here to heckle. Thanks.
Bring it. Heckle away.
She youngin'. Yeah.
You two have such great chemistry, KB.
We're like that all the time. Johnny with the jokes. KB's dad made out like Pops in House Party. You are exactly right.
He said every little step you take gonna be around this bedroom.
Exactly.
Now I do. When I went to see House Party, a fight broke out like 3 rows in front of me before the show even started. It was
in Hempstead.
Yeah, I was at Sunrise. It was another Sunrise experience.
Yeah,
And,
Sunrise Cinemas.
Sunrise.
Yeah. Butterfly.
Yep. All the time. This was the closest it's been to me. So I'm sitting there, and like I said, 3 rows in front of me, it breaks out. The show hadn't even started yet. Security swooped in, escorted about 20 people out, and then the movie started.
Wow. It's like,
May I speak to the Sunrise Cinema? I want to co-sign what Dale is talking about. This huge multiplex theater. It was like the first one that there was not far from where we lived. It was in a mall, but it was its own thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't remember how many theaters they had, but
20 plus.
I want to say it was like. Say it again.
I think it was like 20 plus.
It was a lot, right? That's where we saw Batman 89. That's where we saw that.
That's where I saw that. Now, what made it different, though, for people like, I go to theaters all the time. It's got 16, 17, 18 movies. What made this different was that the front lobby was so humongous because they had a ticket stand for every individual theater had its own ticket stand, had its own little desk in a line that would form up in front of it. So this lobby was just, it was like a football field. This lobby is crazy.
And all of your favorite rappers got robbed there. LL Cool J, Eric B. Rakim, Run DMC. They all got robbed. Somebody got thrown through the plate glass window, one of the plate glass windows.
Yeah. So when I saw Batman, so when I saw Batman, Ed Lover was there. Knicks fans remember Mark Jackson as a player. He's on TV doing TV now. Him and Desiree Coleman were there. They came walking in the theater.
Wow, you went way back.
Yeah, and
the lobby was so big that one night my friends said they were there, and they said what time they were in the lobby. I was in the lobby too. We didn't see each other.
Never saw him. Yeah, I can believe it.
Eventually, they got metal detectors, and that's when
they learned.
Kind of like shit just started getting really crazy. And that was that was the date. When you had a date, you would go to Red Lobster.
Yep.
Which was right in front of Sunrise. You go to Red Lobster or Beefsteak Charlie, but Red Lobster mostly. And then you go see a movie. Man, it just got dangerous after a while. All the gangs were in there. You pretty much you were rolling the dice just to go see a movie with your girl, and nothing worse than
Wasn't
getting
worth it.
pumped in front of your girl for your popcorn.
Lobsters had their claws out.
It wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it.
Nope.
It wasn't worth it. But we were there.
My regret is I didn't see the original Star Wars trilogy at cinema, but I did see Superman. Nice.
Yeah.
Wasn't allowed to see Batman in theaters because I was 7. She's starting with the old jokes.
That's all right.
Tickets in Philippines right now are so darn expensive. I'm annoyed by it. Yeah. They're trying to push that streaming. What's up, Guncheat? Thanks for hanging out with us. Good morning.
What's going on?
Gotcha.
As everybody can see, we have some jokey people around us. Definitely some people that appreciate a certain genre. So next question up, and I know you all have an opinion on this one. Besides the typical political correctness answer that people give, what happened to comedies as a genre? Like, why don't we get great comedies anymore? Besides, everybody being PC, whatever. What do you think is the reason?
Well, the biggest reason, if I can be totally honest, people nowadays are bitches. That's just all there is to it. They're bitches. They can't take it. You go back and go back to like 40-year-old virgin. 40-year-old virgin was absolutely fantastic. I watched it about 2 weeks ago. There's no way you could make that nowadays.
No.
Yeah.
It would be canceled within a week.
No way. There's a lot of movies like that. Start with Blazing Saddles, go forward, go backwards. A lot of movies like that.
That's one thing I miss is comedies. There is not any good comedies anymore. And it sucks. Somebody
add on to that. What else? What other reasons?
Feminism. There, I said it. I said it because everything is so like just tippy toe because you're afraid of offending someone. Like he said it. Pop said it better than I could, and they're just out trying to please these women. Don't find anything funny that we find funny. So when these movies come out, that they're looking at, I'm sorry, ladies in the chat, I'm sorry, but it's like they put these movies out that are kind of for them, and they're just fucking boring. So the old school comedy with dick jokes and fart jokes and stuff that really makes you laugh, and it's just too sensitive, or people are too sensitive to take it. It's kind of ruined the comedy. It's put chick flicks is a majority of the conversation now, and they want to inject humor into it to make it interesting, but it's not.
What is sad? You couldn't make True Lies today with Bill Paxton crying in a corner saying, "I'm sorry, I got a little dick."
Yeah,
I think
even Anatomy is now like taboo.
I think women would allow that. He couldn't say that he had a huge dick because then they'd have a problem with it.
Yeah,
he's toxic.
It's hard to come up with a great comedy that hasn't been done before or is going to offend the masses.
That's true.
Did anyone see No Hard Feelings? That movie that came out last year?
I did.
I like that quite a bit.
Yeah.
They took a
I
chance
actually
with
looked
that.
at one of my streams recently that I actually enjoyed that movie because it was an attempt. Nowadays that's a raunchy comedy. You put that in 2001, it's burning the mill. But nowadays somebody looks at that and go, "Wow, look what they did." But that was every comedy back in the 90s.
But if you think about it, it was so blatant. They were just kind of swinging for the fences. Every joke, every punchline was like, "Aren't you gonna bang me?" And look, I want to see your cock. And they were just they were just going so hard for the punch. And sometimes it's overkill. I mean, I like the movie Two Northfields. I thought it was funny, but sometimes it's just too it's trying too hard, if you ask me.
Yeah. But that's a good example. Here's one. Probably there were more, but one movie within the genre that came out, and I think the thing that complemented that is it has a smart script to go along with it. So it wasn't just dick and fart jokes. There was something behind it. It has to be more than just people with the political correctness. Miss Caveman agrees with you. No offense taken here. I agree. People have forgotten how to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah, that for me is a big thing. Like what Pops was saying, people, everybody's offended by everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if any joke you make, somebody's the target of the joke, and just about every joke you make, but whenever the joke is on them, it's automatically the worst thing that you could possibly do. So comedy is now trying to tiptoe around that.
And
think about
just
movies
Yeah.
like Porky's.
Yeah.
Porky's they could never remake Porky's.
No, ain't no way in hell.
No.
We're still
But
waiting
just-
for an updated version of Porky's to come out.
Just
Something
getting
on
back to
physical
like
media.
where we
Porky's was
are.
never coming out.
Just getting back to where we are, I think we were the last generation not to get offended. Like we could take a joke about somebody else as well as we could take a joke about ourselves. We sat around making jokes about our friends just to pass time,
Yeah.
cracking jokes on each other.
With love.
Who was the better joke teller? Who was the better insulter? Who
remembers back in the day in
It
school where
doesn't.
everybody, all your buddies would get together and whatever what they call it, you would crack on each other.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about each other's mamas.
Oh,
and this
yeah.
and that. I
Yep.
mean,
We
Right.
snapping on each other.
we just
but
laughed
we
at
did
it.
it with love.
you know,
Yeah.
it was all just
Mama
fun.
jokes,
Now you
dozens,
get afraid
whatever
you
you want to call
hurt
it.
somebody's feelings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I heard so many short jokes in my lifetime. But you just go back, you come back with whatever that person's issue
Yeah.
is. You just come back with it.
Yeah.
But like Chris said though, we did it in love. You knew when somebody wasn't. You knew when there was a problem.
Yeah.
With that person.
He ain't laughing.
Yeah. The
Right.
reason we call it dozens is because it took about 12 jokes before somebody got offended.
Yeah. I think George
Right.
Wallace had one of the best comebacks for a joke about a mama joke. And he says, somebody says about his mom. He says, hey, keep my mama out of this. And I'll keep this out your mama. I can't see a better comeback than that. People got to
That's
loosen
great.
up. Stop being so uptight.
Joyride. I didn't see it. I have it here on my shelf, but I haven't seen it. I heard that
Joyride was
That's
pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Joyride was pretty good.
I'm a big Joyride fan.
Yeah.
But it's a punch in the dark because there's so many movies that we were growing up with that all of them did it. Whether it was Revenge of the Nerds or if it was, like I said, Porky's or even American Pie. They were living on the edge a little bit. Dude was having sex with dude's mom. It was it's just a whole bunch of, scared people that are worried about getting canceled, that are worried about offending people. And there's so many different categories of conversation you can move into that I don't think KB wants his channel to get taken, so we're not going to do it.
Well,
But
I know they were talking about
there ruined
2023
so many
Joyride.
opportunities.
I was talking about 2001 Joyride, different movie. So yeah, I haven't seen the 2023
oh no,
Joyride.
not Paul Walker.
Okay, that's
Paul
what I'm.
Walker.
No,
that's-
not
I heard
Paul Walker.
Joyride.
It has funny
It's one of my
moments.
favorite movies. I heard Joyride. That's
No.
where I go. So
No, talking about the
But-
comedy that came out in 2023.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
But I mean, comedy as a whole, we pretty much have brought up raunchy comedies, but like Stacey brought up Beverly Hills Cop before. We don't even have those kind of comedies, like action comedies. We don't have the humor that we used to see, like in a Lethal Weapon movie. So even if they were like sharing a genre with something else, like an action movie or whatever, it's hard. It's hard to even come up with like a horror comedy these days.
Well, you know what though? I think we do get a decent amount of horror comedies, but this is aside from the PC of it all. Another issue with comedy is that we don't have a lot of mid-budget movies. So a movie like a Beverly Hills
there's
Cop,
not-
a Lethal Weapon, those would be mid-budget movies. Now all the comedy is incorporated into the $250 million blockbuster. That's where they try to stick in all the comedy, or family
True.
flicks, or in Disney flicks or something like that. That's where you get all the comedy, because we just don't have those mid-budget movies that are just for adults, really.
Niche audience.
Original comedies,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
I
on.
don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of getting tired of watching a Disney movie just to hear an old dick joke.
True. I was on.
say another thing
Google-
with those comedies, you don't have the stand-up comedians like we did back in the day either.
Yeah.
That made the
Yeah,
crossover. You
we
don't
have a few of them doing some really bad movies now. Like
You.
what was that one with De Niro? I don't remember the name. That's how bad
Old,
it was.
old granddad or something like that.
No, it was
Dirty
one where he
Grandpa's
played
that one.
somebody's. What was it?
No, Dirty Grandpa was with Zac Efron. That wasn't a stand-up
Yeah.
comedian.
Yeah.
No. He said the one with Robert De Niro.
Yeah, and Sebastian
Yeah,
Maniscalco.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's his dad or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it's the girl's dad.
Yeah.
It
About
seems
my
too
father.
close to Meet
Thank
the
you.
Fockers kind of thing.
Yeah, didn't hit. We grew up
Yeah.
in a time where we all saw horrible things on live TV. Nothing shocks our generation anymore. It's true.
It's true. The
True.
internet has desensitized people.
Yeah.
We knew that
And-
was going to happen
and
because they
incest
always
people,
said that
too.
too much information was bad.
Yeah.
So now here we are, overloaded and overexposed to so much
I mean-
real trauma that, you know, when we're watching movies, it just becomes unbelievable or old hat.
Yeah,
True.
it's funny
So,
to me
it's too
nowadays when you hear of a stand-up comedian, you know, getting canceled because they said something. Let me introduce you to Sam Kinison and Dice Clay. Go listen to some Sam Kinison and Dice Clay. The stuff nowadays is so mild compared to that, and they're still getting canceled.
And that's because they would just say it.
Everybody
If you didn't
listened
like it, you didn't like it.
Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. I mean, it was everybody listened to it. I don't give a damn
Well,
how old you were. You know, it was the best.
We also forget about Red Fox and Buddy Hackett. Buddy Hackett was a filthy comic.
I didn't know Buddy Hackett was dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had some blue in him.
It was the Bob Saget that really caught me off guard. I didn't know he was
Yeah,
dirty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one I didn't know.
Wow.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Bob Saget he would say anything, and that's what made it funnier because you didn't see it coming. So he'll open up the show talking about what he would talk about. Again, KB, I'm trying to respect your platform.
Appreciate you, bro.
The
Appreciate you.
comment you just put up, KB, talking about Carlin. I'm gonna say this: don't show Carlin stand up. Don't show Carlin movies. I couldn't care about his acting hardly one bit. But
What
show
movies
his
was he in? He was in Car Wash. What else was he
He
in?
was in
Bill
Dogma.
and Ted's.
Dogma,
Oh,
Bill and Ted.
Dogma.
He was in the Bill and Ted movies.
Bill and Ted. Okay.
Yeah.
And he
I
had that
stand
TV
corrected.
show for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the TV show was, but he had a TV show for a little while.
It was crap. I don't know.
It was bad. It wasn't good.
Good line here. If a comedian is getting canceled, they're probably good at their job.
Yep.
On that note, let's switch gears here for a minute. So last week when we had our first round of this, a majority of our guests spent some time working in a movie theater or a video store. So show of hands who's done either. 1, 2, 3. Everybody. Good. That's what I thought. Guy, I know you were movie theater, right? You were an usher?
Yeah.
Ooh, we miss ushers. We were just talking about that before, my daughter and I, about how there's a couple of places that will kick people out today for phones or, you know, talking, texting during a movie. But it's places where you respect other moviegoers. So like your Alamo Draft House, or here in Kansas City, we have Screenland Armor. You do any of that, it's no questions. You just got to leave the theater. But there's a bar outside if you want to get lit. So there's that too.
Yeah.
But you're not coming back inside the theater. I was saying today, if we had ushers, the ushers, regardless of the age, we went from respect whether they were younger or older than you to now the ushers would be like, ooh, is this going to be a fight by me trying to kick them out?
Yeah.
So it's a different time for sure.
Yeah.
Another thing that shows a reflection of the time was that we had like costume dress-up days, like for Halloween and stuff. And one of my good friends that worked there, he showed up as a pregnant nun. Just something you can't do today. And I didn't have any money for a costume, so I just wore regular clothes, and I put a sign around my neck that said Homo sapien. And I couldn't tell how many people stopped me in line and said, "What is that?" And I said, it's a human being. And this one guy looks at me and says, "What kind of human being?"
I picked a great group for this one.
So when we were kids, we found out what that word mean. So that was the running joke in our class, you know, among when we were on the playground at recess. Somebody would come up to you and go, "I'm a homo sapien," and then run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, kids.
See, this is what's wrong with it. These movies did this to us. These childhoods did this to us. Hey, look at me. I'm a homo. Sapien. I remember those days. It was such fun.
I could see that. I could see that.
Stupid kids.
Everybody else, did you work in video stores?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
worked
do.
at Blockbuster.
I do.
All right,
Yep.
this is your time. Give us some stories. I want some stories from video store days.
Well, I
I
didn't
just
work at
like the
Blockbuster.
smell.
I didn't work at none of the big ones. It was a local mom and pop. Now, this thing was about the size of a convenience store, and it was called Southern Fried Video, and had a big picture of Foghorn Leghorn on the sign. And you had about 3 rows of movies, and we sold fried chicken and corn nuggets.
I was waiting for that. I was like, you got some
And
chicken
so-
up in there?
I would go in there and rent movies and fry chicken, and get free dinner and get to take free movies home. Did it for about
Nice.
5 months. It was the best job ever.
Did y'all have one of those beaded doorways?
Oh no,
Little
they did
back
not.
room, red
They were
room?
actually really Christian.
Yeah, with the red light.
Didn't have that. I mean, that was only one of the few ones around me that didn't have that. But like I said, you walk in this place, and it was like they probably had maybe 3 rows of movies. You know? But
Please tell me one of the movies was Kentucky Fried Movie.
You would think.
probably,
You ain't sure.
sit there, go fry some chicken, watch a movie, take movies home, make minimum wage. It was a great job. So,
I was
The
waiting
perks
for
made it
chicken.
enough.
Southern Fried Video. The building's still there. I think it's an insurance. They sell insurance now or something like that. The building's still there.
Wow.
So,
How about you, Stacy?
I worked at Blockbuster for a little over a decade. Started out as just a customer service rep. By the end, I had ran 3 different stores at different times. I was there pretty much for their entire heyday, basically. I started there. It was all VHS. I was there for the VHS to DVD change. I was there from the DVD change to the Blu-ray change. I was there for all their stuff they used to get hated on, the late fees going away, their deals with studios. So I think it got brought up. I don't know if it was in the stream last week about stuff getting destroyed, but we had to, in our contract with studios, because we got so much of the stuff, is like when it stopped renting, they made us destroy it. We had to put it in a machine and scratch the disc up and throw it away.
It's crazy.
So I did
No,
there.
it's-
Then I worked at a smaller one in his area. It was called Mr. Movies. I worked there after I left Blockbuster for a couple years, but Blockbuster ended up buying them. So I ended up working at Blockbuster basically again by the time I was done. But
That's funny. I know both Chris and Dell, you both work at Blockbuster, one longer than the other. So, Chris?
I was there for a year, barely a year when I first moved to California, Los Angeles. I was just, I just needed to get something quick. And I did, I was already collecting like VHS tapes and stuff like that. And by then DVD had started. So I was just using it for something to just be able to rent movies and be in the environment. And I clearly remember the smell. Blockbuster had a particular smell. I don't know if it's just a commercial fragrance that they used in there. It always smelled the same.
Dell knows.
And it was just something for fun.
But
It wasn't meant to be anything more than just kind of fun.
What was
That's
it,
what it
Dell?
was.
Well, the smell,
Yeah.
I Blockbuster fragrance. That's the best I can tell you.
Yeah,
I always thought it was a carpet.
even in the bathroom, it smelled the same throughout the store.
Huh.
It's
Interesting.
weird. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It was the mix between all the candy, the popcorn, and all the
False
plastic.
gassing.
Who knows how that came about?
I know you
Stacy
have a
probably
good
say
story.
that.
or two.
it was crazy looking back at that and just looking back at how insanely busy. I mean, I wasn't in a big city by any means. I mean, I worked in the stores I worked in was, I think the population is 100,000 people, and we had 2 stores. But how insanely busy those stores were on Friday and Saturday nights when we were doing 15, 20K a night, just renting movies. It's insane.
Yep.
Crazy.
I was
Give us
there
a good
for.
story, Dell.
I don't know if I have a good story, but I was there a couple years. I was there about 2 years. I was already an adult, and well, kind of a story, but it was VHS changing into over to DVD, and then shortly after that, the rise of Netflix. That's when Netflix was first coming out, and we would have meetings every so often, and they keep telling us how we're going to squash Netflix because they just don't have the buying power, they don't have this, they don't have that, and that didn't work out. And then we wound up closing the store I was at, so I transferred to another store. It was maybe 2 miles away, and then that store closed, and then I was done with Blockbuster after that. But
yeah, I just watched the that documentary Netflix versus the world last night too. It's just going back and seeing some of the stuff that happened, and because they'd actually as a company had Netflix on the ropes, because we started our online stuff as well,
and
then we were going to this total access thing, which we were kind of relying on the stores at that time too, because you could take your movie back to the video store itself and get something right away and not have to wait on the mail. But then the company Viacom got sold, and the person that came in automatically dropped the total access thing they were doing. It ruined the company, and I mean Netflix just took off like crazy right after that again.
Yeah,
that's one thing I love.
They had a chance to buy Netflix and didn't do it, I think.
Yep, that happened. That happened like right as Netflix was happening too. And then in this documentary, they talk about how they met at John Antioco, who was the CEO of Blockbuster, and then Hastings met at a Sundance. And Hastings was trying to buy the Blockbuster online part, so the two companies so they could work together. And then so both companies, because at the time it was the first time that Netflix had lost like big time money. They'd lost like $2 or $3 million that year. So they were trying to do it. Then they wanted $50 million, and Blockbuster wouldn't pay $50 million for it. So
they took them out.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's up, Nathan?
Blockbuster swore they were the big kid on the block. No,
Larry.
But one other story about that is how big of deal releases were at the time too. Because I remember I was working there when Titanic came out, and oh my god, that was such a huge. It's like we had the VHS. Every news outlet was there. Radio stations were there. It was just insane.
No, I remember Friday and Saturday nights though, when there was a big movie that had just been released, you'd have people just kind of hanging around the store waiting on somebody to bring one.
Bring it back.
Yep.
Yep.
Can you check the drop box? Can you check the drop box?
Every 5 minutes. Can you check the box? Can you check the box?
We used to do that at the
You got the mom
small
and
video
dad
places,
mom
too.
stores complaining about the Blockbusters of the movie galleries killing them, and then you got the Netflix coming in. It's like the bigger fish always wins.
Yeah.
Just the progression.
We used to wait at the regular video stores too. In Queens, there was one on Lefferts on Linden Boulevard. What was it? Lefferts Boulevard, like Lefferts and Linden. And we would go and rent movies. And somebody took this out yesterday. They're supposed to bring it back tonight or today or whatever. So we'd stand around for a little while and see if they would bring it back. I remember the biggest pain in the ass to me was the rewind thing. It was like, you forget. Yep. And they would charge you $0.25 or 50 cents because you didn't rewind. Come on, man. Just rewind it.
Rewind.
My brother got in my ass so bad because there was like $5 in rewind fees on his account. And he couldn't rent because of it. It was just
my gosh.
Such inconvenient. Give me a break.
And you'd always have your group of regulars that are outside waiting before we opened on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before all the new stuff come out. Yep.
That'd be me. I was one of them.
Yeah. Then when they started a pass where you could rent. I forget what the deal was. Stacey could probably help me out with. You could rent like so many movies a week, like for one price, and we'd have people there like every night getting 3, 4, 5 movies sometimes. And it's like, how many movies can you watch a week? Like, I'm up 3, 4, 5 in the morning watching movies. Oh, okay.
I remember we had like discount nights, like on Tuesday or whatever, and then I bought one of these when it first was available, dual deck Go Video, but it removed the color guard, the cryptine thing or whatever. And I'd go there and I'd rent. They're like, I don't know, like $1 or $2 a movie that on that night versus $5 or $6 on a regular night. And so I'd rent like 4 movies, and I wouldn't watch any of them. I just would be cycling tapes out, and so I would have something that we could watch that weekend.
Yep.
And depending on what I predicted how well I would like the movie, I would select the length time to record it on, because you could put 3 movies on a 2-hour tape, or you could put 2 movies, or you could put 1
Low
movie.
speed.
Yeah, if it was a really, really great one.
Yeah. I
But
remember those days.
the last VHS I bought was the first Star Wars prequel, because it was only released at first. It was only released on VHS.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
we would have the video game kiosk there, and parents would just drop their damn kids off and leave them there for hours to play our video games.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Cheaper than
true.
babysitter.
Couple
That
of
is
comments
cool.
here, and then we'll get to the last question and wrap this up. So I threw this up before. Kate said the thing I miss is the activity of picking a movie with your family,
Yep.
looking at the boxes, begging for extra rental. Now there's no scarcity to make it special. I think it was Chris Stuckman, one of his videos the other day, talking about the effect, even like with Blockbuster closing. I went today and picked up my last group of movies and stuff like that. Got all the exclusives that I didn't pick up before. But he was talking about how he has twin boys and they like to go to like a Best Buy or something like that to look at the boxes and tactile feel, interact with it, versus you're just dead scrolling on Netflix or whatever looking for a movie to watch. It's a different time, it's a different experience.
Sure.
Jeff says, I truly miss the rental store. I had one in this town until right before 2020. Seems so long ago. It sure does. Pandemic helped that too. And I'll throw it up again because Trini's in the chat, and he said he still has his Blockbuster card in his wallet.
I wish I would have kept all my stuff. I got rid of all my
I've
stuff.
got about 6 of them in a dresser drawer.
I had it until I moved last year, and then
with about 2 movie passes actually also.
You should use it.
I got rid of the movie passes.
I got rid of the account, but I still have the cards.
I hear you.
I think I just threw my Blockbuster card in the garbage maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I have one more question to ask, and we could pretty much all say something about this. It's pretty much a close-end question, but talk about it. So we're talking about how things were, movies, video stores, whatever, and we know how things are today. Do you think going to the movies, we'll keep it to cinema here, going to the movies will ever be the same as when we were younger?
Me personally, no, I don't. I think those days are over. I mean, going to the movies back in the day was an event. I would say in my adult years, the last 10 years, I maybe have had 2 similar experiences where I felt like it was an event. For example, Avengers Endgame to me. Avengers Endgame was an event.
Yeah.
You don't get too many of those. Back in the day, you didn't have internet. It wasn't so accessible. And so you go look in the newspaper, call that phone number, get movie times, go into the theater. It was a big deal.
Hello,
you got a movie on your phone that you can sit there and watch whatever. Going to the theater, just whatever. Back then, the only way you could see those new movies was in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're on Paramount Plus within 5 days.
Yeah.
I
think what came out Friday?
Some of these experiences that we're having in the movie theaters, in my opinion, are sort of our own fault, because a lot of us are jaded these days when it comes to movies and our expectations of these movies. I find that if you suspend disbelief, leave your opinions outside, you might enjoy the film. I mean, unless it's a piece of crap. But like when people talk about The Flash, I thought The Flash was all right. I wasn't.
enjoyed the Flash.
I wasn't angry. I didn't. It was this. Oh, it didn't do like this one did. It's not supposed to. I mean, just stop comparing things and just be in the moment and watch the movie. And I think that has a huge effect on the experiences that we're all going to have. I mean, it is to say, don't. It's not to be like exempted that a lot of the movies that come out are garbage. So the creativity that comes out or that's displayed in these movies that are coming out nowadays is just kind of weak. You go for a movie like The Exorcist, and the original Exorcist was as huge as it was, and then you watch The Exorcist Believer, absolute trash. And we have to look forward to 2 more of those, knowing that they're going to be absolute trash. So sometimes it's the movie companies putting out not good movies, and sometimes it's just us. Be in the moment and enjoy the moments that we have. Enjoy these moments. You might get something out of it.
True. Who was just about to say something before? Del, Stacy?
I wasn't going to say something, but I can.
Please.
For me, I love going to the movies. I just do. I've always done it. So for me, it's always an event. No matter whether I'm going by myself, I'm taking my whole family, or it's me and one other person. For me personally, it's always an event going in, even if it's a movie I don't like. Because for the record, I didn't like Flash, but it was still an event. I got to go get out of my house. I got to go to a screen way bigger than anything that I have in my house. And I got to sit and get involved in this movie. And that's just the way I've always looked at movies. Now, I get it. It's not quite the same as when I was a kid, because when you're a kid, just everything is so much bigger. Everything is larger than life. And even if you've experienced it, you haven't experienced it that much, like now, a 52-year-old man. But it's always, for me, an event. And I just love it. So I get it, where some people it's like, well, I've done it so much, or the movies are not that good, or I've learned so much already about the movies when I go in. For me, I just don't get that feeling. Even if it's a movie that I'm not sure I'm going to like, even if it's a movie like I'm going just because my daughters want to see it, or just because my wife wants to see it, I get to go to the movies. I don't care what the movie is. I get to go in there, and I love going in there.
Yeah. I remember 1990, I went to see The Lion King by myself. Something about it just drew me to it. It's now one of my favorite Disney movies, but it was like a big deal for me to go by myself. So you're talking 1990, so I was 20? And since then, I have no problem going to the movies by myself. I prefer to go with a large group, opening weekend, check it out, blah, blah, blah. But nothing wrong with seeing a movie by yourself, especially like depending on your schedule, and you could go to one of them early movies, the matinees. Those matinees slap. Yeah. Give me a matinee any day.
Yeah, I've done it many times.
Yeah, that's the majority of mine I go to.
Yeah. Oppenheimer was a matinee for me.
Ooh. Saves on money too.
Second time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw it on the IMAX laser screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw it on IMAX too. Yeah, that was it.
The big RKO that's in Times Square now. I went there, and I hadn't been to that theater. I didn't know anything about it. This thing is like 9 stories tall and just amazing. It's fantastic. So to see a movie like that on that sort of screen, it was an event. It definitely was an event. I will say that.
But I'm with you, Del. I feel like, I won't say each and every time, but most times when I go to the movies, it's eventful. The large screen. If I'm in a Dolby or IMAX, the sound, the big screen with the vision. And then it's almost like a ritual. Are you getting the popcorn? Are you getting the Coca-Cola Icy? That's my joint. It's like you go through your routine to then sit down and enjoy the movie.
I still enjoy going to movies. One big thing for me is back in the day, one of my favorite parts of going to the movies was watching the trailers. Because you didn't get to see the trailers anywhere else. Maybe a TV trailer. But now you get to see the trailer on your phone, YouTube, wherever. You go in there and go, I hope they play this trailer. People back in the day when that first Star Wars prequel came out, they were going to buy a ticket to a movie just to watch that trailer. And
Yeah.
And then leaving.
I remember that. Yeah.
So trailers used to be y'all don't talk, and then you become a movie critic. That looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see that.
Off a trailer.
Like shit.
I had a question.
Become a little
I had a
classic
question
movie
for the
critic.
group.
You know. So
I have a question for the group. I want you to finish for everybody else to be able to answer that question, and I'll ask after.
Okay. Who's left? Stacy, Guy?
I was just going to say that one of the things that I think that I really miss about it is just the shared experience of
Yeah.
sharing the experience with somebody, with your friend, your buddy, your loved one, or whatever. Getting to share that first time, you know, seeing that someone is someone's father, you know.
Yeah.
Let's spoil the movie for anybody who hasn't seen it.
I don't think there's a statute of limitations. I think you're fine.
Yeah.
Probably good on that.
But there's people like Bob out there that have never seen Star Wars. So,
Yep.
but just, and then also being able to, you know, getting to be able to see it through someone else's eyes as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm jealous of all you guys with kids because you get to go and you get to, you know, share these gems that were gems to you when you were a child, and you get to see how it impacts them and how it makes them light up with enthusiasm and excitement.
It's true. Stacy?
Yeah, I love going to the theater. I mean, I go quite a bit. I haven't been recently, but I still go all the time. And I like you said, I take advantage of the matinees. I know when to go, when I can enjoy the film. I'm not going to get distracted. I'm not going to have, because the theater I go to, like this past fall, they had a lot of issues with kids. They banned basically anybody you had to be 18 to be in the theater after like 8:00 at night.
They're doing that. They're restricting under under 15 or 16 after 6 p.m. or something like that.
Yeah, so I'll go in the afternoon. I get off work, or I go before I go to work. And I mean, there's still some stuff like Endgame and Across the Spider-Verse that I do want to see with the big group, because I just want to see the interaction's fun. But my normal, like I said, I'll just go in the afternoon, and that way I know I'm safe and I'm going to be able to enjoy it and not have a bunch of kids distracting me. And
yeah. What was your question, Chris?
We're a bunch of tough guys here. We're a bunch of strong, tough guys. I can see it in each other's eyes. I see it. But what was the first movie that ever made you cry?
Good question.
I know what it was for me.
I have one movie that has ever made me cry. Just one. I was 8 years old and I saw it on TV. It was The Champ. John Voight.
Wow.
No, it was The Champ, and my parents had recently gotten divorced when I saw it. So, and then when his dad passed away at the end, I sat there kind of shocked, and then I went in my room when I went to bed, and I just bawled like crazy. And ever since then, I was never close until I had kids. And now the only movies that get me close, believe it or not, are animated movies. Toy Story 3, I was really close. That was the incinerator scene. You know, I took my kids and my nieces and my nephews, and when that incinerator scene happens, I'm on the edge of my seat and I could feel my throat getting tight, and I look over them and they're just like, But yeah, those anime Up was another one that got me kind of close.
Yeah,
I didn't do Up, and I got accused of being
I was so good.
Yeah,
my first memory is Rocky 3. Rocky 3 when Mickey dies. Spoiler alert. When Mickey dies in Rocky 3, man, I lost it, man.
You cried in Rocky 3?
I'll watch it tonight and cry again.
Good job, Pop.
It's one of those things. As I get older, I think I'm getting a little softer, so it's gonna happen at some point. And then
we all are.
Yeah, my wife is gonna lose her mind because she's never seen it. So
commercials make us cry these days.
She's gonna give me a hard time about it, and I'm looking forward to it. So,
what about you, KB?
Me personally?
Yeah,
I was with Gertie, man. I was with Gertie watching ET when she thought he was dead.
That's it,
man.
That's it.
Drew Barrymore.
That's it. That's what made me cry.
What they did was they just brought her in, and that was she thought E.T. was her friend, like real talk. And when she walked in and he was all discolored and had all the scientists around him, like doctors, and her expression was real. That was her real reaction to her friend being on the table like he dying.
But
And
did you cry when he
at
came
her,
back?
woo!
When he
What
came
one?
back, did you cry?
Which one?
When he came back.
Nah, man, I was still going from before. It was just like flood works. But I am not that person. But give
Yes,
me
you are.
something, an emotional drama that I could identify with. It's back there, Eternal Sunshine, every time. And now recently, what's today? Today's the 17th. So a week ago, when I watched Past Lives for the first time, there was a scene, no dialogue. And I'm like this, watching it. And why are my fingers wet? I didn't even know. Tears streaming down my face. I was like, what is wrong with me right now?
I think most recently
Hot flash.
the father did that to me.
Oh, that movie.
That the father did it to me, and Coda.
Really? Okay.
Coda got me
Yeah,
when the dad was watching his daughter, and it was no sound, like you said, it was no sound, and he's just watching, and he just got so overwhelmed. I'm like, oh no, what are you doing?
Here it comes.
And I started crying. I'm like, wow. My wife says, she laughs at me because she was like, she can't believe that me, big, strong back, 6'4", 300 something pounds, sitting there crying at commercials and shit.
Then you
It
feel like
happens.
you got to go listen to Wu-Tang or something.
If it's well, right, that's what I do. I go sit in the car and smoke a cigar and cry. Wu-Tang Clan, ain't nothing like that.
The Coda scene when they're just sitting with each other on the back of the pickup truck, and he puts his hand on her throat to be able to feel the voice. And, oh God, that gets me. I'm a caveman, but I cry.
It's good to know that I'm not
Caveman's
tripping
cry
because
too.
Coda really did do that. Coda was a great movie. It was a great movie.
Yeah. Huck's
The
with you.
Even Huck was crying. Look at this, Huck. We
Yeah,
can't have Huck out here crying.
I know.
the big movie though that was like the first movie that I remember seeing that made me cry. Like my mom, one of the good memories about my mom is that we go to the movies all the time, but she would take me to movies that she thought that she would want to see, and so it didn't matter what the rating was. So one of the movies that, one that's funny that she took me to see that she didn't know what it was Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down. That one didn't make me cry. It made me
Name
feel
didn't give it away.
but was
Go grandma.
was Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah.
Stacey, you got one?
I'd probably go back to E.T. or Old Yeller.
Ooh, Old Yeller. That's another one. If you got dogs, you
Yeah.
feel that one. If
What was
you
that
got
other dog one? Is it Marley and Me?
Marley and Me.
a lot of
that's
people will say that one.
That's a bad one too.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, fellas, this was fun. Great question to end this. I want to thank everyone who was in the chat, everyone who's been checking it out or checking it out on the replay. I want to personally thank my guest tonight. Pops, you got anything coming up?
This Friday we're doing another top 5. It's going to be the top 5 greatest superhero movies of all times. I know it's been done 100 times. I've never done it on my channel. I'm a big superhero guy, and so that should be a fun one. I think it's gonna be around 10 p.m. Eastern time. I'm pretty sure that's the time on this Friday. And that's really about it right now.
Cool. Del, you're another superhero fan.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'm slowly editing a video, so I'll get it up soon, in which I go through this shelf here, which is all of my superhero collection.
Nice.
So I'm gonna, whenever I can get that edited, I'll get it out. Other videos here and there. Movie Swap won't return until the middle of February. and at that time I'll have Kenny Sparks on.
Nice. Stacy, what's new?
I'm gonna be actually next Wednesday. I'll be on By the Numbers with the Faces for Radio crew, and then I think on the 30th, I think it is, I'm gonna be on a movie club with Corey.
Nice.
Other than that, you
Shout out
can
to
catch
Corey,
me on
man. I'm enjoying
Instagram.
those movie clubs.
I'm sorry, before you go any further, I am going to be on with Corey next week.
Nice.
Sweet.
Caveman, what's new? What's going on?
So recently dropped 2 videos, and then I'm doing a new thing with John Doe Juggalo, Jeffrey, and Christy, the slasher dude. Kind of stole an idea from Gizmo, where we're doing movies that we haven't watched, but it's called Something Geeky in Our Collection, where we basically focus on anime or animated movies and sci-fi movies, but we're also including the TV series too that we haven't broken into, and we're supposed to be having episode 3 in the next couple of weeks.
Nice. That'd be cool. And my man over there on the left, what you been up to?
Well, I'll be at my local Walmart checking receipts and making sure everybody got the goods that they're supposed to have and not stealing. And no, I'm not doing anything. My channel is still up, still taking on subscribers, apparently. Floyd House Flicks channel on YouTube, of course.
Yeah.
You'll just see me popping up every now and again on Instagram. If I pick up something new, pick up something good. Like I just picked up that Old Boy 4K. That thing is amazing.
I saw that.
Really?
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Oh man, it's a great piece. And I got it on the low for the cheap, so panned out even better than that.
Nice.
But other than that, I'm always looking for you guys. Got something going on? Give me a call. I'd love to come through. I love doing this with you guys. You guys are always fun. And count me in.
Definitely going to have you back in another roundtable.
Sure, absolutely.
I have something kicking around for next month, so I'll let you know. Just one last check-in with the chat. Good stream, guys. Thank you, Miss Allie. Thank you, Jeff, Johnny. Yeah, this is fun, man. I'm enjoying these roundtables. I'm enjoying this this whole Gen X thing. We'll probably take a break and bring it back in March, and then go to like maybe once a quarter, depending. So Gen Xers out there, get at me. Appreciate you.
Okay, AKB, John, put up Johnny's comment if you don't mind. The last comment he's got.
That's what we do.
Security.
I left my whistle in the patrol wagon. You should see it. Amazing.
Oh man, just thank you to everyone for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you.
And
Checking out
just so
on the
everybody knows,
replay.
I got this little thing I do on Instagram called the Joke of the Day.
Do it.
I love those.
Do it. We need one right now.
We don't want to get KB canceled.
I appreciate the consideration. Thank you once again, everyone. We are all signing off.
Yeah, I gotta go take my vitamins, and I should be in bed already. I am a Gen Xer, so I should be up.
Don't forget to take your Metamucil.
Metamucil. I need to be regular.
Yeah, car insurers, all that stuff.
Don't want no diverticulitis.
No, and the thing, my back is getting smaller. What they call that when you shrink?
I need a backiotomy.
Yeah.
No, I got a backiotomy.
I got to eat something so I can take my back pill.
That's right.
Doctor said I need a backiotomy. Go smoke a pound
I
of
need
your
to take some magnesium before I go to bed, so I don't get that Charlie horse in the middle of the night.
Some melatonin, so I could actually get to sleep.
Yes, the melatonin. Shout out to all the melatonin poppers. All right,
Remember
y'all.
Geritol? Do they still have Geritol?
Everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right,
Bye, guys.
Geritol Generals.
Okay, ready?
Salute.